Hello, my friends. This is one of those readings that just got all out of control. It was intended to be a short, and instead I have 6 cards here. So, while sometimes that works, usually it doesn't. And in this case, I see a lot of conflict. The middle card we see here is the Five of Wands. So the Five of Wands is about a struggle. It is about practicing, learning new skills, skills that you're really struggling to learn, honestly. So there's a desire for success, a desire for justice. But then we have the Five of Swords. So it appears there's quite a bit of self-sabotage that you have not yet dealt with. And then we have, up above this Five of Wands, we have the Ten of Swords and the Nine of Cups, both of which are in sideways positions, so crossing positions. So just like this inner struggle, I believe it is an inner struggle. I don't see any court cards here, so I believe this is you struggling with you. And okay, so Nine of Cups. While the Nine of Cups can be a wish card, it is also a card of overindulgence. If you look at the Thoth deck, that's what it's called, overindulgence. And I believe there are other decks that have followed the same path on that. There's definitely the implication here of somebody who parties too much, drinks too much, has a whole lot of fun, but sandwiched between the Ten of Swords and the Five of Wands, this is somebody who is trying to avoid themselves. I mean, with the self-sabotage, the Five of Wands, the Ten of Swords, there's a lot of inner conflict and perhaps outer conflict as well. With the Ten of Swords, that's a painful ending, a very, very painful ending. Devastating. But with the presence of the Five of Swords, it was probably brought about by you in some fashion. So, it may be that there is a desire for a reconciliation, to make amends. We have this Justice card here. And to try and fix this mess that you made yourself. So there's this desire for success. It's the Six of Wands. So on one side we have a recognition, perhaps, of self-sabotage and a desire for success. These are on both sides of the Justice card. But if self-sabotage is a major theme in your life, how much success are you going to be able to hang on to? You may be able to experience fleeting moments of success, a few years here and there, but until you address, do the work, and address this Five of Swords, these Five of Swords issues, perhaps this, it's unlikely that you'll achieve anything lasting. And likewise, in terms of fixing this Ten of Swords situation, if that is a desire, which will require justice, again, to make amends, you can't just say, I'm sorry. That's a step. One step. The first step, perhaps. If it's an authentic apology, that creates an opening, perhaps, to make amends. If the situation was that bad, then the person that you, or people that you harmed, may not even give you the opportunity to make any sort of amends. So you have to make a convincing apology. And in order for that to happen, there has to be real change. There are no cards here of change, just struggle. Struggle can lead to change. But, this is going one way and this one is going the other way. And if you'll note, this is the way they came out, okay? I didn't arbitrarily put them that way. That's the way they came out. So this one is also the opposite of this one in orientation, which tells me that this overindulgence problem is a big factor, is probably the self-sabotaging factor in all of this. So you really have to deal with this overindulgence. Okay? We didn't get the devil, although I will say it showed up when I was shuffling. I think it was the very first card. It flipped over in the deck. It didn't come out, but it flipped over, so I saw it. Otherwise, I would never have seen it. So it's certainly implied. The Nine of Cups, I don't know. I don't know why you didn't get the devil. Perhaps the overindulgence is not as bad. Now we have the Three of Swords. Grief, mourning, loss, working through the emotions, allowing yourself to really feel them, really deal with them. Regardless of who may be involved here, the people that you harmed, until you get yourself together, you should not go near them. Oh, great. Okay. So you see the person that you harmed as the Empress. Well, that's a tall mountain to climb, isn't it? You think you wronged an Empress. All right. Seven of Wands. Are you really standing up for yourself? Are you really protecting yourself? Are you being true to yourself? So the Seven of Wands is about good boundaries. In order for you to heal, you have to have boundaries. As you heal, you will likely be able to have better, stronger boundaries. But you have to start somewhere. And again, this is a card in reverse. So it could be that you aren't defending yourself at all, and you are perhaps being influenced in the wrong direction. It may be that you don't, so either no boundaries or the wrong boundaries. So the right boundaries create doorways. So a boundary says, this is my standard for myself. I'm not going to try to change you, but I am going to take care of myself. And this is not okay with me, so I am going to leave, for example. If you were, for example, a recovering addict, and I have heard recovering addicts say this, he said that as a recovering alcoholic, he chooses not to get involved with people who are partiers because he is a recovering alcoholic and he does not want to slide back into that. So that's his boundary. He's not trying to control anyone else's behavior. He's just taking care of himself. Okay, so that's one example of a healthy boundary. So in that example, he's not saying, I'm not going to see anybody, I don't want to have a social life. He's saying that he's not going to engage in the kind of social life that harms him. So, but other kinds of socializing are perfectly acceptable. So it's not just a wall. I hope that makes sense. Okay. I wasn't expecting to do this right now, so I have no plan. I guess that's all there is to this message. It's all about boundaries. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. Look at that. It's right next to the Five of Swords. Oh, I did want to look a little more. There's a book I've been reading lately that I like to look at. I don't always agree with it, so I don't always say what it says. But I do like to get other people's opinions on what cards might mean. Yeah. Well, this person's interpretation of the Seven of Wands in reverse is self-sabotage. You feel as if everyone around you is criticizing you and challenging your motives. You are doubting your own abilities and feel like throwing in the towel and walking away. These challenges blight us all. The trick here is to not be overwhelmed by the inner saboteur. All right, so there you have it. It's all about your self-sabotage, your inner saboteur. Don't let them win. They've been winning your entire life. Or at least since you were very young and the inner saboteur was created. It is possible to defeat them. Or transform them. So this is the Seven of Wands, the card of boundaries. So perhaps you can transform your inner saboteur into a healthy boundary. Or several healthy boundaries. All right, let's see, maybe something to help you with this saboteur and boundary issue? All right, I'm grabbing the Wild Unknown Tarot. Just to give us something completely different. Something to help with this boundary and sabotage, self-sabotage issue. Four of Cups. Self-pity. Lack of gratitude. Huh. And it seems you have a false priestess around you. Or perhaps it's a false priestess within you. Frequently we confuse other things for intuition. So the High Priestess is a card of intuition. So learning to listen to your intuition. Perhaps you're not listening to your intuition, or you are mistaking something else for intuition, mistaking anxiety or something for intuition. Or you're listening to somebody who doesn't actually know what they're talking about. So the Four of Cups, in addition to being about the need to be more grateful and the need for it's also a card of meditation. And you need to look around more to be less self-absorbed. I know that sounds contrary with meditation, but meditating is not about being self-absorbed. It is a trait, that a skill that you do have to learn, and it takes time. So honestly, I suggest walking meditation first, or yoga, or tai chi, qigong, something like that. I think it's easier than sitting meditation, but you know, do what works for you. And then we have the Son of Cups. So this would be the Knight of Cups, which I think is you. The Knight of Cups is less of a doer, more of a dreamer. They may, you know, come in all romantic, but they don't have any staying power. because they haven't really done the emotional work yet. They're more in love with the idea of love than willing to do the work to build and maintain a healthy relationship. So, that are ideas, thoughts, considerations that may help you with your self-sabotage and boundaries. I wish you the best of luck.